Hey guys, Nick here from Velocity Trading, and in this video I'm going to be recapping my best trading day of 2020. So today had a fantastic day in the room, just amazing reads on this WATT Watt all day from the pre-market and intraday. I had two trades on it, pre-market long and an intraday long, both A+ setups for me. I also did have a short on VXRT, so I'll be going over all three of those trades. And if you guys, first time coming across this video, we do offer a 7-day trial here at Velocity Trading, so links in the description if you guys want to try out a 7-day trial. But alright, let's dive into things here. So WATT, what do we got going on here? So first thing we like to do, guys, is just do the basic analyzing. So first thing we like to look at are the statistics, right? So statistics here, you can find this on Yahoo Finance, or you can find it if you guys have a Trade Ideas subscription, even FinViz. There's a lot of resources that offer this, but I use favorites are FinViz, Yahoo, Trade Ideas. You always want to check a few sources. Sometimes numbers may be different, so always best to do that. But they're pretty similar on all my sources. So we have a 28 million float stock, so this is a little bit bigger. WATT a little bit bigger in the float, but for those who don't know, Watt is a former runner. And I've seen this thing trade before, and it trades thin, right? And it was very thin this morning, right? So being that it's a little bit higher in the float, here we like to look for stocks that are under 10 million in float. So being that it's a higher in float stock, we want to confiscate that by trading massive volume, and we did, right? It's just Watt was trading like a 3-4 million in float stock this morning, right? Because the volume was so massive on it. I mean, just look at the volume on it. It's trading 80 million shares right now, guys. And I realized if you guys we're thinking about what I was talking about, it was this here, the Trade Ideas statistics. So yeah, we were making up by trading massive amount of volume. That's my most important thing is volume and price action. So I'm looking for my setup. I need that volume confirmation, and I need that price action confirmation, and we got that here in WATT, right? So so I was getting in here, pre-market, pretty early on it. Let me just pull over. I think I have my executions here. I'll show you guys where I was scaling in. I was scaling in right around here, right around this 213 area. I don't have the timestamps there, but scaling in there, 213, 7,000 shares, and you guys see my exits 282, 280. So scaling in right around here. I was kind of waiting because at first it was kind of playing that over-under game. I just wanted to, that confirmation that $2 was going to hold strong and it was going to have that next leg on up. And you guys see the baseline volume is absolutely massive. We know that. So I was patient. Came out. New volume was there. I liked it. It was meeting that volume criteria that I like to look for on the 1 minute. And was kind of waiting for that base, and it was kind of having trouble. But ultimately, 190 area was soaking. And then we got over that $2 mark, that $2 hump, and was scaling in here 213s, and I was risking that $2 mark. I didn't want to see another pullback after this push. Wanted to see $2 hold, so I was risking 13 cents. And I was going in bigger, right? I've been working on scaling, and I'll show you my next trade on it, how I scaled into that one, and I was able to get big size. But this one, the risk was, I had a set risk, and it was 13 cents, so I was able to size in a little bigger. And it was fairly liquid for a pre-market stock, so got in there, 213s on it, and risking that $2 mark. Didn't want to see it recrack too. I felt, we've consolidated for, a nice period of time here. Any pullbacks, $2 I want to see hold, and never even got that, right? Just pretty much just held above my entry, 215s, started the base, now 220 started the base, rallied, 250s holding now, and then, selling in there 280s. And actually my goal was to sell 250s, 260s, but there was just a constant, bidder, right? It was a soaker. He just kept on, propping it on up, holding it on up. Every pullback, he came in there, held it, and he did a great job. And I felt confident to hold. I was thinking they're gonna probably push it over 3, and then I saw that 290, stuff, and you guys can see I was on big volume, right? So I think I exited some here just because it was up 280s, and it was past my target, so I sold 280, and then the rest I sold after that stuff move, right? It was a big volume stuff, and then got pretty heavy from there on out. Came back down, and they kind of held VWAP there, and kind of consolidated into the open. I was thinking maybe these 9 a.m. Robinhood buyers could push it on up, but didn't. They kind of kept it in this range and into the open. And this was a really nice move. I think it caught a lot of shorts off guard too. They pretty much dropped it into the open. I think newsletters got in there, stuffed it, and then it ripped it right back on up into a halt. That was pretty nice. I wasn't expecting that either. I was thinking they're it's gonna flush out, maybe back to 225s base, and then make a move. But ripped right out of the open. Even better, right? That even put in some more shorts here. On WATT, kind of squeezed out some of the early ones, and this action was really heavy. It was trading really heavy on Watt after that halt. Cracked below $3, and this is what we went over in the pre-market. If you guys, I may post the live stream on YouTube, but in the pre-market, what I was telling members was that I'm not interested. I wasn't interested here at all. What I wanted to see was a pullback near or sub VWAP, and then a base, right? I want to see a base being formed, and then I want to see some higher lows, from there. And I don't want to see it stay heavy. I want to see it start to trade a little bit thin, right? So that's what we got. So I wasn't interested at all here on what, I was waiting for, a pullback, below VWAP, and looking for a base to be formed, right? So you don't want to try to pick tops. You don't want to try to guess the bottom. When you're trading penny stocks, I want to trade with edge, and for me, that edge was waiting for a base, then waiting for that confirmation, that holding of the key levels. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with taking an early start or dabbling in a little bit, before that. But if you want to, take full size or take even half or more than half size, on a trying to pick the top or bottom, I mean that's to me that's not really a good risk reward trade, and it's not really a high edge trade. So formed that base a little bit. Started the push, and then I did start to scale in some here, and that's what I mean by scaling in a little bit early, just in case we got that rip on up. Just wanted to be there, some of it, and then I could always add from there. But I got in a little early. I'll show you guys my executions. I think I forgot to screenshot the pre-market one, but I think I screenshotted the intraday one. All right, so here we go. It's a let me blow it up a little bit better. All right, here we go. That's nice. All right, so here's I was entering here, like 308, 309s, 310s. Just scaled in a little bit. I think I did around like 5,000-6,000 shares. I had a little bit of a cushion on my first trade. So I think my first trade I nailed like almost a 5R. So I had a little bit of a cushion. So doesn't mean we have a cushion a bit super flexible and I could hold it for past my stop. Nah, I was getting in there. I knew my risk. My risk was at like the 280 mark originally. So I had a little bit of a wider risk because I had lesser size on, and then from there, what I was waiting for was 310s to firm up, right? I wanted to see 310s firm up, so I got in there a little bit. I think I had 310 average, and what I wanted to see was 310s to confirm before I added, right? So came back down. We did this over under of $3, but kept me in the trade there, right? Wasn't gonna stop out just because $3 wasn't holding right away. It was still kind of reclaiming a little bit, and even if it didn't, right, I was gonna still stay in there unless my stop hit. And I see so many people getting stopped out just because of price action, right? There was a trade last week on AKER, and I botched it, right? I exited the trade just because the price action was looking a little weak. Nick, you're in the trade, see it through the end, right? Have your stop in there, right? If that's the game plan to stick to your stop, you like the setup, it's there, then go for it, right? Don't get wicked out because, you see, a big seller or, big bidder, right? So that trade I botched, right? The chart was holding, but price action was a little deceiving. So, I ended up exiting 8KR last week, and that play absolutely ripped. May have not been last week, may have been like 2 weeks ago, but I still remember that trade because that would have been a massive winner. And it was like that on Watt. We'll fast forward that a little bit, but you know, that's what I wanted to see. I want to see 310s hold. Once that 310 mark hold, I got in full size and I added, and that's something like I said I'm working on. I'm getting into working on scaling and adding to my my winners, right? So, got in there 310. As I saw the confirmation was holding, 310 held, and it was pretty noticeable. If you guys look back at the recording on the stream, 310s got hit really hard, and the 310 absorbed a ton. To me, right there, that was that signal. All right, they're here. 310s held, and I think maybe 2-3 seconds later, after that soak, it just ripped on up. It didn't rip, excuse me. It just had a leg on up. So you guys can see I got in right here as 310s held, and it ripped up to 340, and this is where it started to get a little heavy. So I did take off a piece, right? I took off a quarter. I had a lot of size on it too, so I think I took off like 2,500 shares, 2,000 shares, and I had upwards of 10,000 shares, so I was in pretty big. And I saw a lot of people exit the whole trade here, and depends on what your plan is, but I mean, if you're getting in 310s, and what was your risk, right? My risk adjusted to 290, right? So I just adjusted to 290, and then I adjusted it to $3, so I was risking 10 cents, and I saw a lot of people sell here just because of the tape, right? And never cracked, right? Never cracked. Pullback held, 310 held, and look at that, massive squeeze all the way up to almost $4, and the goal on the rest was to sell into parabolics, right? So take some off there, 350, 360, and the rest was parabolic. So selling over there, 390s. Big stuff move here, so I ended up selling the rest, and came down from there. Now I think it's curling up a little bit, but I mean, yeah, that was a trade on Watt. Overall, was a great trader. I think it had some really easy reads. The tape was really well on it. It was really easy to read. When staying heavy, and when it was being bid up, when they were in control, and when they were selling. So it was some good reads on it, right? And then we had this symmetrical triangle type pattern, and saying that I think they're gonna dump it from here on Watt, and then if 350 starts to fail, it could be game over there on Watt. So we'll see how this thing plays out the rest of the day. I'm pretty much done with it. 2 trades on it, 2 home run trades for me. And yeah, that was it for the Watt trade. 80 million shares. I think volume was a story on this one, right? Volume was a story. I'm sure the fundamentals are really poor on it. I know they have an ATM, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna trade 100 million shares today, guys. I mean, that's incredible volume. Baseline volume was massive on it. We're trading like a tenth of the float, and some 1-minute candles. So I mean, that's incredible, guys. Volume and price action is my foundation, my trading, and I saw that volume and price action was here on Watt. All I needed then was the chart to set up and wait for my setup and pull the trigger, and that's what we had here on Watt. It was a perfect trade, A+ trade for me. And after that, I traded VXRT. That was my other trade of the day on VXRT. So let me pull up this real quick. Don't want to make this video too long either, so I'm just gonna go over this real quick and then wrap it up. So VXRT. Something that we got to look at on this one is a daily, right? So what we like to say is look left, guys. Look left. What do we have? We have 1, 2, 3 days with that 350 level reject. So I was interested in parabolics versus 350 on VXRT, and I didn't want to be too early on it. At the same time, I didn't want to be too aggressive. So I was kind of waiting for that exhaustion type short setup I like to look for. So, I did get chopped up on the first trade on it, so let me pull up my charts on it. Just give me a second here, guys. So I was getting in here, and this was, not full size, right? It wasn't full size, right? I needed $3 to fail to really get full size on. So was getting in here, 315 area on VXRT versus the highs, right? So, we had this 2 stuff moves. this ramp was on some lighter volume, so I liked it versus the highs. Ended up getting stopped out at like 329. Then I saw it came in 350s. Had another stuff move here. Saw a weaker volume ramp, so was getting in here. 325s, and I was risking that that 340 level there on VXRT. And you can see we kind of exhausted here. Came back down. 325s failed. Then I was waiting for 310s to fail to get full size on. And you can see 310s were struggling. Pulled, ed full size, and then was covering there 290s and 286 on VXRT. And like I said, the story on this one was just kind of gauging the price action and knowing the history of this one. It's just so many gaps. Will fail follow through on VXRT. What's its name? Watt was the crowded play of the day. And just was fail follow through, fail follow through here on VXRT. Like I said, the daily, looking left in the daily, and that was it on VXRT. And it was my best trading day of the year. I made around $12,000 today on 3 trades. So really great stuff today. Great reads in the room. If you guys are interested, try out a 7-day free trial. Links down below in the description. And I'll try to do some more of these recaps when I can. Hope this helped, and that's it for me, guys. I'm out. Peace.